Good day everyone. I am Jan Michael of Partulan. We're going to talk about 6 leadership styles and how it affect performance by Goldman. So what are the Goldman leadership styles? The 6 Goldman leadership styles provide insight into a fundamental truth. Being the boss doesn't always make you the leader. All the Goldman leadership style should be used to different proportion depending on the situation. As a rule, peace-setting and commanding leadership should be used sparingly, and the visionary, democratic, affiliative, and coaching style should be used regardlessly and in largest proportion. The Goldman leadership style come from Daniel Goldman, an author and psychologist whose research led him to establish the 6 basic styles of leadership based on different aspects of emotional intelligence. These include uh, coercive leadership, authoritative leadership, affiliative leadership, democratic leadership, peace-setting leadership, and lastly is coaching leadership. So first is coercive leadership style, commonly referred to as directive or commanding leadership. It's best to use coercive leadership when you need to fix a problem quickly and effectively. A coercive leader can often assume that money is the only motivator for people. Because of this, an employee's job satisfaction and commitment to the company can be greatly affected. So, coercive leadership style. Most of the time, coercive leadership style is not the the best approach. A, a coercive leader demand authority and complicity. They have a strong drive to succeed but are often negative, uncritically, and rarely give out praise. Good leaders should not exert their authority over others, namely because people don't appreciate being ordered what to do. This leadership style greatly affects the team's morale and can make it difficult for employees to be honest and transparent. For fear of being humiliated or demand, while it's clear that this style of leadership is predominantly negative in certain emergency situations where quickly decision and action need to be made, it can be helpful. So, what are the elements of commanding leadership? There are few things a leader must do to establish commanding leadership. So, the first one is clear communication about job roles and functions. The second one is implementation of firm rules and boundaries. The third one is confidence in knowing how to do work. So, the first one is a clear communication about job rules and function. So, a commanding leader gets team members to clearly understand what is expected of them and how they can use their skills to accomplish organizational goals. Team members work with the commanding leader to establish clear goals and objectives, evaluation criteria, deadlines, and substance necessary for ensuring that key performance indicators are met. So, the second one is implementation of firm rules and boundaries. There is a strong need for firm rules and boundaries in the commanding leadership style. It is essential for these leaders to have a sense of control over what subordinates do and how they complete their tasks. This also helps the commanding leader quickly identify when a team member is falling out of line. Finally, the rules and boundaries help bring the clarity that is one of the positive aspects of commanding leadership. So the third one is confidence in knowing how to do the work. A commanding leader should be highly experienced and skilled in the projects, tasks, and work assigned to them to the team. So the second one is authoritative leadership style. You may know this one as visionary leadership. Authoritative leaders give their team a general direction and goal to achieve, but let them reach that goal in whichever way they deem appropriate. Visionary leaders lead with their confidence, enthusiasm, and good communication skills to communicate, and work towards a vision. So, authoritative leadership style is a visionary leaders are also empathetic and empowering, giving those in their team the confidence to take calculated risk and work toward a shared goal. This helps employees see how they fit into the team and what their contributions mean in the bigger picture. Great visionary leaders also resolve conflict, which will happen when giving people the freedom to innovate, and while they promote innovation, visionary leaders still set boundaries and parameters, keeping people accountable for their account actions. This makes visionary leadership one of the most effective and positive styles for most circumstances. So the so a visionary leader truly understands the big picture and set a long-term path for the organization. When applying a visionary leadership style, the long-term vision is also properly communication and explained to the members of organization. So the pros of visionary leadership. There is a clear idea of overall goal that everyone is working towards. Temporary setbacks don't deter either you or your team from achieve the overall vision. A visionary leaders can focus the team's energy on what ultimately matters to make that overarching goal a reality. Visionary leaders are proactive and can often foresee challenges. The cons of visionary leadership. Such great emphasis is placed on the future that the visionary leaders often loses sight of the present. There is a fixation on the leader's vision which leads to other potentially good ideas being tossed aside. So the third one is affiliative leadership style. An affiliative leader is also about the people. They want to create a positive work environment for their team members and are big on giving praise. The downside, though, is that the team rarely receives actionable advice or correction, leaving team members feeling confused and leaderless. The downside of an affiliate leadership style, especially if it's the only style used, is that poor performance can go uncorrected. So affiliation leadership style is this great for organization that are in need of a moral boost, team building, or improving communication and trust. In an environment where trust is strong and communication is open, ideas are shared easily and innovation is free to occur. So the characteristics of affiliative leadership. So the first one is strong people focus. Then the second one is strong moral compass. The third one is good communication. The lastly is flexibility. So strong people focus is people are the number one priority in affiliative leadership. Both the group, the individual, and the emotion of the individuals are valued. Strong emotion, ties, and loyalty between the team members can create opportunity for great performance. A more personally approach is also visible in how rewards and recognitions are handed out. Affiliative leaders are much more likely to spend time with their employees to celebrate a job well done together. And the second one is a strong moral compass. All leader all leaders are expected to have a moral values so the unethical behavior is discouraged. However, morals and values form the central focus of the affiliative leader. They aren't a secondary thought once the company objectives have been met. Instead, affiliative leaders model moral behavior and expect those they work with to do the same. Then the third one is a good communication. Affiliative leaders use positive communication to improve team morale and increase the chances of success. This doesn't mean that the leader is a pushover. Instead, the affiliation leader can effectively encourage an employee to rethink his or her behavior through positive communication. And the fourth is flexibility. Thanks to the highly level of trust and communication, affiliative leadership normally brings a large amount of flexibility to organizations as well. The climate and harmony require very little in terms of rule and a weaker system structure is enough. So, as you can see now, na advantages or disadvantages. So, the first one is advantages. Positive feedback. Lots of positive feedback creates a positive environment. Then conflict are dealt with. Interpersonal conflicts are quickly addressed to retain harmony. Leader cares about the people. Affiliative leaders focus on the well-being of employees. Low stress, high autonomy. Emotional focus rather than peace setting leads to lower pressure. Then tightly knit teams, strong people focus create loyalty and trust in teams. So, ang disadvantages kay risk of underperformance. The focus on harmony can lead to sacrificing results and performance. Avoidance of criticism. Avoiding negative feedback can result in unresolved problems. Loss of long-term goals. Strong people focus can risk losing sight of organizational purpose. Avoidance of difficult decisions. Wanting to avoid negative impact, leaders avoid though decisions. Emotional dependence can lead to an unrealistic emotional dependence on the leader. So the fourth one is democratic leadership style. Under under democratic leadership, also known as a participative leadership, every team member has a valued voice that management genuinely want to hear from. These workplaces are typically more flexibility and collaborative, but that comes with a price. Longer, more frequent meetings to discuss everyone's opinions and hash out ideas. Teams under a democratic leader often have high levels of commitment due to being involved in the decision-making progress. This exclusiveness keeps the morale high. So, this leadership style is best used when a strong direction is needed to be in place. It allows the company to move towards goals that the whole team can get behind. However, if a consensus can't be reached, it can slow down workflows and cause frustration. Therefore, the democratic leadership style is best used in certain situations. For example, when the leader isn't experienced or uncertain of what the next step should be. So, the five is peace-seeking leadership style. If you are a peace-seeking leader, you walk the walk and talk the talk daily. You know the importance of setting a good example for your team and having high standards for the work they produce. The peace setter generally sets high standards by leading by example. They're hard workers, highly motivated, and constantly use initiative to try and move the company forward at a faster and better rate. Often, they will pressure their team to do the same. So, those who can keep up with the high expectations feel as they are failing and morale will suffer. Because pace setters like to move fast, they rarely stop to give feedback or encouragement or simply point out the things that are wrong. So, as a leader, it's important to remember the individuals in the team. Everyone is different and will work at a different pace. As long as the expectations are fair, moving a bit slower than the pace setter does not always constitute poor performance. So, lastly is coaching leadership style. Much like its name suggests, coaching leaders focus on the personal development of their team members rather than just meeting work-related quotas or sales goals. They work one-on-one with their employees to achieve excellence, which works well for employees who are open to improvement. The coach leadership style aims to provide one-on-one personalized feedback to help employees improve and reach their personal goals. The coach, so to speak, encourages their team members to try things, experiment, and not be afraid of failure. So, coaching works best when people want to improve their weaknesses and focus on career development. A good coach leader will be empathetic and provide constructive feedback, giving employees the confidence to improve their skills. This this style can backfire when people don't want to be coached, or the leader is inexperienced. This can simply feel like micromanaging, which will have negative effects. So, elements and characteristic of coaching leadership. So, number one is collaboration. And then the second one is coaching mindset. The third one is scaffolding. The fourth one is feedback. The fifth is self-motivation. And lastly, empathy and trust. So, the first one is collaboration. A coach want create a successful team if the team doesn't collaborate. It's less about maintaining hierarchy and status and more about supporting what's best for the team. Sure, the coach will give direction to help team members develop their skills, but this still within a collaborative environment. A key item in collaboration is to spend a lot of time with the people you coach and being clear on the purposes as well as the long-term goal of the coaching approach and how you will accomplish this goal together. So the second one is coaching mindset. Helping people because their best selves isn't a simple task. A coach should think creatively about how to approach the coaching process so that each team member is developed and the team collectively achieves the best result. It's a process of great commitment and sacrifice, but the final outcome of this creative effort can be life changing. Having a coaching mindset also requires that the leaders believes in his or her capability in having a true impact on another individual. A coaching mindset also means that you as a leader truly and deeply care about the individual being coached. Coaching cannot be done on the surface and for show. It simply will not work and it will not have any impact. The third one is scaffolding. Scaffolding is a term used in education to describe a variety of instructional techniques used to improve to move students progressively towards stronger understanding and ultimately greater independence in the learning process. So, a variety of instructional techniques used to move students progressively toward stronger understanding and ultimately greater independence in the learning process. Coaches inevitably become teachers as they guide team members towards honing their skills. So, feedback. Team members want know how team members won't know how well or how poorly they're doing unless they receive feedback. Constructive criticism is necessary for their growth. Coaches know how to use the task behavior component of coaching leadership to appropriately express their feedback. Team members, in, in turn, are receptive because they know that this feedback will help them improve their skills. Feedback feedback is also an art form. So self self motivation. Coaching leadership is a two-way street. Coaches should be willing to sacrifice their time to motivate team members to hone their skills and become the best versions of themselves. However, team members should also have a high level of self-motivation, especially as the coach begins to give them a greater sense of autonomy. It is very difficult to coach an individual who isn't motivated to improve and grow. Then, empathy and trust. As in so many other leadership styles, we come back to empathy being a pillar in leadership. In order to coach well, leader needs to understand the person being coached on an emotional level. Through empathy, the leader can calibrate how to challenge and develop the individual and know when to reduce and increase pressure, for instance. So that's all for my report. I hope you learned something from it. And again, my report is all about the six leadership style and how it affect in performance by Daniel Gulman. Thank you for listening. God bless.